Hey peeps, Sarah here from Sparrow Springs, and I just bought an iPad. So I want to share with you some of my thoughts on whether or not I think that an iPad with the combination of an Apple Pencil and Procreate is a practical option for you as an artist, whether you're a hobbyist or a professional. So stay tuned. First, let me just share with you, I am a traditional and digital artist, mostly working in freelance work. I like to dabble in a lot of different mediums and in a lot of different subjects. So I do have to apologize for my no-show November because basically I had other commitments and my family was recovering from the dreaded C-19. So it's been a month. And now we're on the holidays. However, so I figured today was the best day to come back. It is actually my 30th birthday. Woohoo! So to celebrate leaving my 20s, I am offering a 30% discount for everybody who signs up for my email list this weekend. I will leave a link for that in the description. So you have access to all of my artwork, all of my prints. So if you feel like supporting an artist, that's the way to go. So let me give you just a lowdown on what I'm actually working with. I have an 8th generation iPad. I'm using the Procreate app, and I also added the Apple Pencil into the mix. So this is the 1st generation Apple Pencil. So is this a practical purchase for an artist? With all of the equipment, so the iPad was about $385. I did purchase the 128 gigabyte memory storage. The Apple Pencil was $99, and the Procreate app was only about $10. With tax and shipping, everything was about $500. So, is it worth it? Let's talk about some of the features. First, I want to talk about using the iPad as a drawing tablet. This definitely took some getting used to. I'm used to working with Photoshop, and I have either my Intuos Pro drawing tablet or I'm now working with the XP Pen graphics display tablet. So I had kind of gotten used to those. So in the terms of like changing my surfaces, it was really difficult to get used to. The surface is really slippery, so you don't really get that same grip, organic feeling to actually drawing. I complained about this with my XP Pen graphics tablet that I had to charge the pen, which is also the case with this, but now I have to charge the tablet and the pen. So sometimes it's kind of a, oh no, my pen is low, oh no, my tablet is low. So it's like, that part is not fun for me. I don't like being interrupted when I'm in the middle of a creative process. The pressure sensitivity. The pressure sensitivity can be a little patchy just because it's trying to register like the difference of the input of the pen versus like my hand on the actual pad. So sometimes like I'll get just random marks here and there, but luckily there is a handy dandy undo button. So now the screen size. The screen size is not bad actually. I thought it was going to be harder downsizing for my XP Pen, but honestly, it has a larger working area than my very first drawing tablet, which was a Wacom Bamboo. So it's a very workable size and maybe only slightly smaller than my usual sketchbook. So size-wise, I had no complaints there. I do wish that the pen had more of a grip. I know that the 2nd generation Apple Pencil has more of like a kind of a grip. So on that note, I think that this would be better if you had the 2nd generation Apple Pencil, but I know that this one works with the 8th generation iPad. I also wish that it had more of a tip. It's fairly blunt. Because of that, I don't feel like I get quite the detail control. Like I can always zoom in, but it's just that blunt tip. I wish there was more of a point. I have all of these small complaints, but to be perfectly honest, this is a multi-use device. It could basically replace your laptop if it fit your needs. And this is the reason why I initially bought this. It is 100% portable, which I love, and it's compact, so I can slip this in my bag, no problem, and I can literally sketch and draw anywhere, absolutely anywhere, and it's just there. So now let's talk about the app Procreate. So obviously, again here, I am used to working with Photoshop, which is a very, very hefty program. So I was a little concerned on just being able to have it function similarly. And I gotta be honest, this app is a powerhouse. Absolutely blew my mind. And yes, it's $10, which is more than you would expect to pay for most apps. However, when you think about like in comparison to other drawing programs, some of the cheaper ones are $60 and don't have half of the features. So, like for the price, Procreate is absolutely worth it, and it's a one-time purchase. And it does have all of the basic stuff that I would need for digital drawing. It's got like layers, layer modes, the adjustments, brush creation, masking, everything you would need and more. And I was really excited to learn about this feature, but it also has a feature to do some basic animation. I also like the fact that I can draw in landscape or portrait mode and everything just adjusts as needed. Now, this app is not perfect. I do have some complaints. I am having a hard time finding a brush that will create a decent taper. So I want something where if I'm doing light pressure, I want it to be nice and thin, press harder, it gets fatter, and then when I get like light again, that it goes back to that nice taper. I'm getting this weird effect where it's like I can either start with a decent taper or end with a decent taper, but I can't get it on both ends of the stroke. So maybe I just need to play around with it a bit more or try some different things, but that has been probably my biggest pet peeve about this app. Something else that's a little scary to me maybe is that you have a limited amount of layers. So I mean, some people don't need a whole lot of layers. I have gone into projects where I have like 75 to 100 layers. With the 8th generation iPad, it gives me about 25 layers. So now I've never run out of layers as of yet, and I know I can always like flatten and combine, but that's kind of a deconstructive sort of editing that makes me a little nervous, but I haven't run into that problem yet. And I know that with the iPad Pro, this is not as big of a deal. You get a lot more space for layers in that respect. So it limits the amount of layers that you have based on the file size. So another thing that I am desperately missing from Photoshop is levels. When I fix my lighting and my contrast, I absolutely love using levels, and it doesn't have that, and it only has curves. So, which I hate curves. I absolutely hate that feature. So even if it had just some basic like brightness and contrast sliders, it would make me a whole lot happier, but it doesn't. Like it has like the brightness portion of it, but it doesn't really have a contrast slider anywhere from what I've found. Something that I really actually like about this is it has a built-in time-lapse feature. It saves every brush stroke and you can just export it into a video, which is absolutely awesome for a quick video to throw out there on social media. And it even has one where it condenses it into a 30-second video, which I'm like, that's amazing for something of this caliber in an app. To just have that built in, fantastic. So the drawings you're seeing in the background are actually part of that time-lapse feature, which is awesome. The brush selection is not too shabby, honestly. A lot of the brushes that are just built into them, a lot of them mimic traditional media fairly well. And I am having some trouble finding brushes that work kind of like the traditional like Photoshop brushes. But again, there are so many brushes that just come with the Procreate app. They're fantastic. No complaints there. Another feature that I really like is that you can transfer projects. So if I'm working on something and it's getting just too big and I want to do something more with it, I can always save it as a PSD and put it on my laptop and keep working on the project from there. Now, this is a feature that I knew about before I got Procreate, but I'm really excited about it, and it's the streamline feature where it basically stabilizes your brush stroke. So as someone that massively stinks at hand lettering and drawing straight lines, this feature is a lifesaver. I love it. So my overall impression of using the iPad combination with Apple Pencil and Procreate. There's definitely some things that you have to get used to, but in comparison for what you would pay for laptop and drawing software and a graphics tablet, $500 is a very affordable entry level to digital art. And I would recommend this even to a hobbyist, just because I feel like with laptops, you know, so many people already have laptops, and it's becoming that way with tablets. A lot of people just already have tablets, and the fact that you could just get an Apple Pencil and then the Procreate app for $10, very affordable. Now, would I also recommend it for professionals? Absolutely. Highly recommend it for professionals. So Procreate is such a fast, lightweight option. It speeds up your workflow so much. And honestly, you can get some pretty impressive finished works off of Procreate too. And again, as I mentioned before, even if your project does get too big, you can save it as a PSD or whatever file type you need, and you can transfer it to your other drawing programs. So overall, I love this setup, and my only regret is that I didn't do this sooner. So let me know what you think about this setup. Comment down below. Also, comment down below if you want to see some tutorials in Procreate. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out my shop, and don't forget to check out that 30% discount. So that's all for now. I will see you later, peeps.